Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News with me, Katira King. My first guest is a Lagos-based chef who's incredibly passionate about bread, pastry, and confections. Having trained in classical and contemporary French cuisine at the Pacific Institute of Culinary Arts in Vancouver, Canada, Chef Alex is not just a pretty face. With a BBA magna cum laude in management from the USA and an MSc distinction in international marketing management from the UK, he went on to volunteer at the Aid Organization for Refugees and Asylum Seekers in Tel Aviv, Israel, before embarking on his career as a culinary professional. And all of that hard work has paid off, as he's now the chef owner at XO Boutique Bakery, as well as being the former pastry chef of Tarragon Restaurants and chef instructor at the Culinary Academy in Ikoyi, Lagos. Chef Alex regularly gives masterclass demos at prominent food fairs in Lagos, including the GTB Food and Drink Fair and Fiesta of Flavors. And now, we're honored to have him in our midst to teach us a thing or two about bread.
Hi, Kat. Hello.
So nice to see you here.
A pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for honoring our
What an
invitation.
intro, by the way.
I mean, you did all the hard work. I just said it.
Wow, you make it sound very good.
I have the easy job. You actually have to graft. I just get to report it.
Awesome.
So we are talking bread today. Look at this spread.
Yes.
Walk me through this. First of all, what are these different types of breads here?
Okay, so generally when we talk about bread, we have two types of bread. We have lean breads, lean doughs, which are your French-style baguettes, San Francisco-style sourdoughs, Italian-style ciabattas. Generally, lean bread doesn't have any sugar in it.
Okay. What about milk and butter?
Milk and butter as well. So those are lean breads. Now, when we add...
So wait, what's it made out of? Flour and water?
Literally 4 ingredients. I'm so happy you asked. Literally flour, salt, water, and yeast.
Really?
Actually,
you can make bread that simply?
Absolutely. So in France, actually, but you know, the French are very particular about their food, right?
Yes, we are.
So they're actually heavily regulated, right? So you can't call something a baguette, for example, if it has more than those 4.
Oh,
right.
So then what would you call it?
You would have to call it something else. Create a name
French
for it.
bread, long bread.
Right, exactly.
Crusty breads.
Exactly.
So what are these types of bread?
Great. So we have 2 different types. This is it's a Hokkaido milk bread.
Hokkaido, isn't that in Japan?
That's in Japan, yeah. So they actually developed this method of making bread where you cook a roux, which is a flour-water mix.
A roux? Don't you generally use that as a base for sauces?
Absolutely.
What is going on, guys?
You know your food, wow.
I mean, I love to eat.
Fantastic.
This is why Thursday is my favorite day, and it's everybody in the studio's favorite day because everyone gets to eat.
Gets to eat, right? Yeah, but no. So with the roux, it's called a tangzhong, which is quite a mouthful. It's actually a Chinese word, tangzhong, exactly. So you cook this roux, and it's supposed to keep the bread really soft and moist on subsequent days. Right. So you get fresh bread even without any preservatives, which is one of my mantras. For example, I never cook with preservatives.
That's really good.
Yeah. So this is a Hokkaido milk bread. It's what we call an enriched bread. So your milk, eggs, sugar, and then this is more of a lean bread. This is a sourdough style bread. As you can see, this is less soft.
It's quite hard looking.
It's quite crusty,
goodness.
It's quite a crusty bread, yeah. So this is a lean dough. We usually use a sourdough to eat soups.
Just going to take a feel of this. Oh,
absolutely.
that is
it's much softer,
What's the difference between a Hokkaido milk loaf and a brioche? Because it looks like a brioche to me.
Absolutely, great question. Brioche is heavily enriched with a lot more butter.
Okay, that's why it's a lot more tasty.
Absolutely, because everybody knows that's the soul, right? The butter is the soul. But a Hokkaido milk bread is generally more milk. So milk powder, a little bit of butter, but the brioche is more butter and eggs.
I
see,
okay. So it's more like a cake.
It is more like a cake.
Okay.
Matter of fact, when Marie Antoinette said let them eat cake, she actually said let them eat brioche.
No.
Absolutely.
No way.
Yeah, so the translation...
Who taught us this nonsense?
Someone just translated de la brioche as cake, because brioche is cake. It's cake masquerading as bread.
Don't say we don't teach you anything, guys.
Yeah, so generally lean, enriched, and I think we are going to make some bread today.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I've made bread once in my life, and it was an absolute disaster.
Was it?
Yes.
What did you do wrong?
Everything.
Okay.
But no, I've made it twice.
Yeah.
The second time around, I made focaccia, and it
Okay.
came out very well, but it's a very simple recipe. It's not hard to mess up focaccia.
It can be a bit difficult to handle because it's very hydrated, right? So.
Well, then I did very well.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
exactly.
Thank
I'm
you
sure
very much.
you don't give yourself enough credit. But today we're gonna do a simple lean bread.
Okay.
So some
So
people
the lean one is sort of this crust.
sort of that, yeah.
Okay.
So technically, what I'm gonna do is what we're gonna do is a baguette recipe,
Okay.
literally. So we have flour, water, room
Okay.
temperature water.
Right.
We have this thing. Look how bubbly that is.
What
Look at
is
that. Check it out.
this?
So this is called a Polish. Like Polish, but with two O's. Polish. Polish. And what it is, it's a mixture of flour, and I've actually used whole wheat flour here.
Okay.
And some regular flour as well,
Right.
white flour. It's a mixture of flour, water, 50-50.
Okay.
So it's 100% hydrated.
It's literally just flour and water.
Yeah, and
Why
it's-
does it look like
a
yeast?
tiny bit of yeast in there just to get the activity going.
Can we see this on
Yeah.
camera? I mean, what? Wow, look
I
at that.
love the bubbles.
Look at
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And now you can just go ahead and throw that in here.
Okay,
Why don't you do that?
fantastic.
Yeah, you can use that. It'll help you.
I mean, you might need to help me. Look at that draw.
And this is what we want. We want this. This is what gives the bread that elasticity, the
Right.
hydration.
Right,
And it
I
also
see.
gives a little bit of a sour flavor. So this is what we call a pre-ferment. A Polish is a type of pre-ferment.
Oh, I see.
It's a very liquid one, as
That's
you can see.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So how long would I have to leave this to rest in order to create this sort of dough-like substance?
Great question. You could do it if you're in a warm room. Obviously, we're in Nigeria, so it's generally warm if it's not air conditioned. Go for about 3 hours, I would say.
Okay.
3 hours before you want it, because you want it to be nice and active.
Yes.
Because that's when the yeast is going crazy, right?
Having
And
a party.
That's right, exactly. And that's when your bread gets that rise, that leavening, and it gets the texture and the crumb on the inside.
Hey, learning.
Awesome. So this is our yeast, right?
Okay.
So we said 4 ingredients, yeah?
Yes.
Flour, water, salt, and yeast. So
Okay.
we've made our yeast into a pre-ferment, but
Right.
it's still classified as yeast.
Interesting.
So we're gonna now scale out.
And let's just make
Yeah,
sure we're
yeah.
getting this all on camera.
Awesome.
So what is this? This is I'm assuming a scale?
Yes, so this is
I'm
just,
just making sure it's nothing, you know, these
Oh, yeah,
bakers
nothing
and all that
fancy.
technical equipment.
I've left all of that in my kitchen today. So today we're going simple. And
Just
that's
the simple
just a
stuff.
simple digital scale. If you don't have a digital scale or you don't have access to one, you can look up conversions online, really. It'll tell you how many grams a cup of flour is, for example,
Right.
240.
That's so good because a lot of cooks really don't no longer. I know baking is a sort of it's more technical
science
than
and
cooking.
an art, exactly,
Yes,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, I'm a cook. I'm
Yeah.
definitely not a baker.
Yeah.
A lot of my cakes come out flat.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that you have to be so precise with it is
Right.
what puts a lot of people off because it's
Abs-
such a specific science.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
your cakes, I mean, we have some pictures of your cakes. Let's
Yeah.
take a look at some of those cakes because your creations are magnificent.
Thank you so
And to think
much.
of
yeah.
all the precision that goes into each thing.
Absolutely. So we always say, and please don't quote, I'm saying this on air, right? But pastry chefs always say that a good pastry chef can be taught to be a very good regular chef.
Excuse me, there's no such thing as a regular chef. I take offense.
But a good regular chef cannot be taught to be a good pastry chef.
I hope you are all hearing this.
Shots
Chef
fired.
Benedict, Chef Katie Prime, every chef that we've had on this show, Alex has called you out.
Yeah, because there's a certain level of precision,
Yes, there
attention
is.
to detail
Yes.
that goes with the pastry tradition, which can, you could use those skills when you're, going into
course,
culinary.
of course.
But chefs are much more whimsical than pastry
Of
chefs.
course.
They dash of this and smidge of that. In
Yes,
pastry, you
exactly.
can't do that. Your bread will flop. Literally, your cake will flop if you do that. So.
Oh my goodness. So he's just come on the show to
Yeah.
insult us, guys. I mean, I don't even know what this is. All right.
So a little bit of salt. I know I pulled up the salt next because we never really want to put salt and yeast together.
Why is that?
Salt inhibits the ability of yeast to become very active.
I
So generally you don't want to bunch salt and yeast together.
Right.
We're going to go with the flour next.
Okay.
Okay? And so we're just going to go with 300 grams of flour.
All right. So we don't need to sift the flour first?
No, that's a
Right.
great question. So when we're making cakes, We sift usually sponge cakes. Breads, we don't need to aerate the flour.
Right. And so what does aerating the flour do that we don't need in the bread?
Fantastic. Aeration gives the final product some sponginess, a springiness, sort of a lightness,
okay.
like a
Which we
like
don't
a sponge,
need in such a
which
hard
we
bread.
don't need because we want it to be almost stodgy, right? Because it's a
dense,
tough bread.
compact bread.
Exactly, exactly. So we're here.
Okay.
So we're just gonna zero the scale out. Salt. In moderation, always just to limit the yeast's activity, right? So salt usually about 5 grams for this kind of bread. So be careful. I'm gonna put you to work here, Kat.
This bread might turn out like a pancake.
No, you got it. With your knowledge of bread, Kat, I'm sure. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some water and then we're gonna do that stir.
All right.
So we're nice and zero. So we're gonna add about...
Let's make sure we're putting that to camera. So we're on 0 now, guys. We put all the yeast, the flour, and we're adding the water in.
Exactly. So we're just gonna go with 300 grams. Whenever you're making a lean bread, you want to withhold about 20% of the recipe, the amount of water the recipe calls for, because humidity in the air where you are, the qualities of the flour, it's always easier to add more water, but to take it out, it's difficult. So 300, so we're going to hold back a little bit. We're going to go with about 250.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Is it mixing time?
It is mixing time. Awesome. So now go crazy.
Okay. You don't have to ask me twice. Is there a specific technique to mixing the dough?
I see you're using the folding technique, and that's nice. That works.
Is there a different one that I can use?
No, because we just want to combine everything, and then we're gonna pour it out onto the surface, and then we're gonna go at it.
Okay.
Nice. So while you do that, I'm gonna prepare our surface. So this is the baker's throw.
Yes, let's get that on camera.
It's flour baked.
Go on, chef.
So the throw.
Yes, throw that flour.
Nice. So we don't want to overdo it, so we don't affect the recipe.
Right. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you're looking very nice.
I mean, this is such a workout.
Nice.
I do not need to go to the gym today.
Okay, that's looking great. Let's go ahead and toss it.
Oh, this is it? That's fine?
Yeah, now we're gonna need. Yeah, absolutely. Now we're gonna need. So we're gonna give you a little bit more flour.
Who's me?
Okay, well, I'm gonna start. I thought you were gonna get your hands dirty.
You're definitely starting.
Okay. So always make sure you have your hands nice and floured.
Right.
Because you don't want the dough sticking to your hand, yeah?
Okay. If all these tips and tricks that you learn.
Absolutely. If the dough is getting ragged, add just a little bit more flour.
What do you mean when you say ragged?
It's pulling apart. It's not really holding together in a ball. But as I knead, I can already feel it firming up.
Right.
Now, do you know what's happening? Do you know what's causing that firming?
I can't even hazard a guess.
There's a word which is it's just starting to sound more and more like a cuss word because everybody's going gluten-free, right? So
yes, it's such a bad word now, isn't it?
So that's gluten. So flour, or the protein in flour, is essentially made up of two enzymes, glutenin and gliadin.
Okay.
Glutenin together with gliadin is what we call gluten. One helps it stretch out and the other helps it contract. Yeah, so by kneading it, we're developing these two proteins. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Interesting. So one can purchase gluten-free flour, and then that's how you get gluten-free bread.
Absolutely.
So why is it that people are so allergic to gluten? Is it a made-up thing?
No. Well, some people believe it is, and others don't. I think the jury's still out on that.
I think it's made up.
I think it is, but generally, I think we're starting to consume so many processed foods that I don't think human bodies were made to consume so many processed foods.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think it's just a natural reaction.
I love the cuisine in Africa. It's so natural.
Organic.
It's so traditional. It's naturally organic because
absolutely.
I mean, a lot of people don't even have the cash for pesticides, much less putting it in the food, which is great for consumption.
Absolutely.
But we are going to talk about that a bit later in our take. Let's focus on your bread for now.
Awesome.
Tell me about your influences. Who granted you this aspiration towards cooking?
Oh, definitely my parents. My dad, interestingly, my dad my dad cooks till today. My dad cooks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my dad cooks himself lunch, breakfast, dinner.
I love that.
Absolutely. My mom is a baker, and so I grew up with. I remember I was 5 years old when I made my first pizza for friends.
What? No, was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
It's not just about
Well,
making
they said it was good. Maybe they were trying to like let me down
They
easy.
were trying to make you feel good.
Exactly.
Or you were just a prodigy.
Absolutely.
There's also
Who
that.
knows?
Who
right?
knows? I think we can see that from your creations. So talk to me about the confectionaries that you produce, because you have your own shop. It's called the Exo Boutique Bakery.
Absolutely. So we're set up as a pop-up. So far we've popped up in Ikoyi, we've popped up in VI, Victoria Island in Lagos, and we've also popped up in Lekki. Right now we're working on our permanent space.
Ooh.
So I'm very excited. Hopefully by the holidays we'll have our own space.
I love that. So we have a
Absolutely.
place to come and eat all the wonderful cakes that we can see on screen now.
Absolutely. And we're going to do a lot of what we call viennoiserie, which is croissant, pain chocolat,
The
pain
magic
raisin.
words.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do a local variation on a croissant, which is with cashew.
A locally infused cashew croissant.
Absolutely, and it's a big hit. So
Interesting. So
Yeah.
is that almost like the almond croissants that you generally find in France?
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. So we just use cashew cream instead of almond cream.
So do you find that a lot of things that you would perhaps create in Canada or the US or the UK, that you've got to sort of Nigerianize in order to fit the culture?
Well, I think any good chef, any good cook, you should operate based on the philosophy of local, fresh, and seasonal. People call it the farm-to-table philosophy, right? But if you're in Nigeria and you're not influenced by Nigerian produce, get out of here.
Get out of here, man.
Absolutely. I think you've had Chef Benedict on the show before.
Yes, he was on last week.
Italian trained, but still uses local ingredients. And he talks about that quite a bit, because you have to adapt.
Absolutely.
As human beings and as professionals.
This is looking amazing
Yeah,
right now.
so it's starting to come together.
So can I use this as, let's say, is it interchangeable? Can I use it as a pizza base, perhaps?
Absolutely. So the more hydration it has, the better suited it is for pizza.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay.
So because it'll crisp up when you roll it thin, and but generally we want it a little bit firmer than this. And you notice I'm adding a bit of flour as I go along.
You know what I want to ask you is your typical sort of day at work. So what is that like for you? Because you own a bakery, you were the former head chef at Tarragon, the pastry chef.
Right.
I mean, you do everything. What is a typical day like for you?
Generally, wake up early, get some orders out of the way. I also do private events as well. So I'll do private dinners.
Luxury dinners, I'm sure.
And so generally, it's sort of a balance between Exo Bakery and Chef Alex cooking for people. Because I don't only do pastries. Actually, as you said before, I'm a classically trained French chef.
Yes.
So I cook.
And we have seen some of your cuisines. They are so beautiful to look at. You kind of don't want to eat it, but then you remember that they're so tasty that you're like, I'm going to eat it.
Exactly. Right.
Do you find that there's a lot of competition in the Nigerian market for this sort of luxury, aspirational foodie lifestyle?
I believe so. Yes and no. We are quite traditional. The consumers are quite traditional with what they demand for.
Right.
So on the one hand, I think reinventing kind of the wheel may not necessarily work here. However, people, I think when they're introduced to something that is novel and different, will generally pick it up.
Right.
It's just a matter of patience.
Amazing. Okay. And what's the response been like to the breads at the bakery?
Oh, really, really good.
They fly off the shelves.
Absolutely. That's kind of what I'm known for, is really more than anything else the breads, because generally we are used to enriched breads. So aggregate bread, for example.
Yes, with all the bromites? Bromites? I'm not sure what you call it.
Although it's technically banned in Nigeria, so a lot of them should not be using it. But a lot of sugar, a lot of eggs, a lot of milk. So people have a sort of a sweet palate when it comes to bread. They like sweet breads. So when I offer, lean breads, which is something quite different, and you have a lot of fit fat people now, right?
Yes.
So
very true.
So it is getting more and more and more popular.
Okay. So with this kneading process now, how long would you say a person should be kneading the dough for?
A person, if you're working without a machine, between about 10 minutes.
Okay.
There are many ways to test. We could do something called the window test. You basically pull the bread, so you take a little chunk of it.
Okay.
You form it as thin as possible, and almost like a window pane, you look through it. If you can pull it without it breaking.
I can't see through it.
So it's starting to break.
Which means?
Which means that we haven't developed enough gluten. We need to go about 2 more minutes.
So I'm going to leave you kneading.
Okay.
And then you're going to bring us the finished, we'll pop it in the oven and bring us the finished product during outtake.
Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna do some paninis. We're gonna toast up some paninis with mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. That's what that is. That's some mozzarella. We're gonna put some Parmesan.
Parmigiano.
It's gonna be fun.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is all from the exciting world of baking, because it's time now for a short break on the morning show. But when we return, I'll be speaking with Sweet Tooth Son Steamers, who'll be talking us through the chocolate baking process. Don't go away.